What is di? Di is nothing but xi minus a. Instead of mean method, I'm having di equal to xi minus a. Sigma fi di by n divided by 2 and multiplied by c. So I'm going to multiply whole value with c. After simplifying that one, I'm going to get the answer. That's nothing but the standard deviation sigma equal to 16.67. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session on standard deviation. I am your Revati ma'am, faculty from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, first grade college, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So dear student, in my last class, I started with standard deviation and the different types of standard deviation under group data, ungrouped data as well as continuous frequency. And in my last class, I have discussed direct method, mean method, assumed mean method as well as step deviation method under ungrouped data. But in my today's session, I'm going to deal with standard deviation for group data as well as continuous frequency. So what is group data? Here group data is nothing but the data are organized in some manner, that is nothing but the ascending order. Now under group data, once again I'm going to have direct method, mean method as well as assumed mean method as well as standard deviation method. Anyway, dear student, in my today's class I'm going to discuss some of the example as well as formula related to the different types of group data. Anyway, dear student, this is the first type comes under group data. So what's the first type? That is mean method. So dear student, in mean method, to find the standard deviation, I'm going to have the formula that is whole square root of sigma fi xi minus x bar. So dear student, what is fi? Here fi is nothing but the frequency or occurrence of the data, and xi minus x bar is nothing but the di divided by n. N is nothing but the number of elements. So dear student, see, this is the simplified formula, that is whole square root of sigma or summation of fi di square by n, where n is nothing but the summation of fi. What is fi? That is nothing but the range of the element. Now, dear student, I'm going to have the example problem here. So here 40 students were asked to write the total number of hours per week they spent on watching television. With this information, find the standard deviation of hours spent for watching television, and this is the given data. See here, I have the number and I have the occurrency. 6, x is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. And if I consider fi, it is 3, 6, 9, 13, 8, 5 and 4. Now, dear student, let me to find the solution here. And what is the formula I have? That is whole square root of sigma fi di square divided by n. And what are the things I want? I want summation of fi as well as I require di. So here from the table I have xi and I have fi. and I want summation of Fi. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to add all the elements. Now, what I required, I required Xi and Fi. And why I required Fi and Xi? To find the mean. And in my group data, what is the formula used to find the mean? That is summation of Xi into Fi divided by n. So here I'm going to multiply Xi, Fi. 6 3s are, it is 18. 7 into 6, it is 42. 8 9s are 72. 9 13s are 117. 10 8s are 80. 11 5s are 55. 12 4s are 48. And I'm going to add all the values. Now see here, I want di. So what's the formula? Di minus x bar. So here x bar is nothing but the mean. So here 432 divided by 48, and what is the mean? It is 9. Now 9 minus, that is 6 minus 9 minus 3. Then 7 minus 9 minus 2. 8 minus 9 minus 1. 9 minus 9, it is 0. 10 minus 9, it is 1. 11 minus 9, it is 2. And 12 minus 9, it is 3. And when I perform the addition, when I add all these numbers, so summation of di is nothing but 0. After that, what I required, according to the formula, I required Fi square. So I'm going to take this square of these di. So minus 3 square, it is 9, 4, 1, 0, 1, 4 and 9. Now what I want to do? I want to multiply Fi into di square. So I want to multiply 3 with 9. So 9 3s are, it is 27. 6 into 4, 24. 9 into 1, it is 9. 13 into 0, 0. 8 into 1, it is 8. 5 into 4, 20. 4 into 9, it is 36. And when I add all the values, I'm going to get summation of Fi di square equal to 120. And when I substitute this one in the formula, I'm going to get the answer square root of 2.58. And when I take this square root, I'm going to get the standard deviation, that is nothing but 1.6. So this is the simple example for mean method. Now dear student, I'm going to have another method under group data, that is assumed mean method. Under assumed mean method, let x1, x2, x3 up to xn be the given data with the frequency. So under group data, I'm going to get the frequency, and frequency ranges from f1, f2, f3 up to fn. By using this, I want to calculate assumed mean, and to calculate assumed mean, I'm going to use the letter, that is uppercase letter A. So here, what is di? Di is nothing but xi minus A. Instead of mean method, I'm having di equal to xi minus A. If I considered mean method, it is di equal to xi minus x bar. Okay, fine. Now, the formula here is, I want summation of Fi di by n whole square. It is whole square. Okay, now what are the fields I required? I required Fi. I want to find out di square, and I want to find out Fi and Di. Now I'm going to have the question here. This is the simple example problem under assumed mean method. So here the marks scored by the students in a slip test are given below. So I have the data as well as frequency. Okay, now find the standard deviation of their marks. Now what I want to do, by this data I want to construct the table. And what is the mean here? See, what is the assumed mean? The assumed mean is 8. So here what is the assumed mean? Assumed mean is 8. Then I have Fi, and what is the summation of Fi? That's nothing but 48, and in group data n is nothing but the frequency. So summation of frequency is nothing but n. Then I want to find out Di. So what is the formula to find out Di? That is Xi minus A. Okay, so here Xi is 4. 4 minus 8, it is minus 4. Then 6 minus 8 minus 2. 8 minus 8, it is 0. 10 minus 8, it is 2. 12 minus 8, it is 4. Now I have Fi and Di. In the sense I just want to multiply these two. 7 into minus 4, it is minus 28. 3 into minus 2, it is minus 6. 5 into 0, it is 0. 9 into 2, it is 18. 5 into 4, it is 20. And summation of Fi into Di is nothing but 4. In the sense, if I add all the values, I'm going to get the answer 4. Now, I want to find out Fi Di square. Okay, Fi is nothing but 7. Okay, now it is Di square. So here I have the Fi into Di, and here I have the Di. So what I will do, I'm going to multiply minus 4 into minus 28, it is 112. Minus 2 into minus 6, it is 12. 0 into 0, it is 0. 2 into 18, 36. 4 into 20, it is 8. And if I take the summation, that is sigma Fi Di square equal to 240. Okay, now I have the formula and I'm going to substitute the value. So here it is sigma Fi Di square by n. So 240 divided by 29. And here it is sigma Fi Di by n. Okay, so it is 4 by 29 whole square. And if I add this number, if I take the square root of given number, okay, I'm going to get square root of 6944 by 29 into 29. So I'm going to get the answer 2.87. So dear student, you have to take the square root of this number. Now dear student, I'm going to have the third type of standard deviation, that is continuous frequency distribution. So continuous frequency distribution in the sense what, I'm going to have the frequency distribution, but in that I'm going to have the certain range, and it's going to, the range is going to continue. For that reason it is called continuous frequency distribution. Under this I'm going to have the first method, mean method. And what is the formula? See here, I'm going to have the continuous frequency distribution. So it is Fi of Xi minus X bar, because it is mean method. So I'm going to have Xi minus X bar. Suppose if it is assumed mean, then instead of X bar, I'm going to have the A. So this is the formula you need to remember. And Xi is nothing but the middle value of the ith class. So Xi is nothing but the middle value of ith class, whereas F is nothing but the frequency of the ith class. Anyway, dear student, let's see what is xi and what is fi with the example. So, dear student, I'm going to have the shortcut method or step deviation method. Okay, now to make the calculation simple, we provide the following formula. Let A be the assumed mean, xi be the middle value of the ith class, and c is the width of the class. So, I'm going to have the formula xi, a, and c. Xi is nothing but the middle value of the ith class. C is the width of the class interval. A is nothing but the assumed mean. Now, I'm going to have the formula, that is whole square root of summation of fi into di square by n minus sigma fi di by n divided by 2 and multiplied by c. So, I am going to multiply whole value with c. So, that is my sigma or standard deviation. Anyway, dear student, let's see one solved example. So, here marks of the student in a particular subject of a classes are given below. See here. So, I'm going to have the frequencies range and all the frequencies are continuous. So, it is going to start from 1 to 7. Okay, I have certain frequency range and all the frequencies are continuous, and for that reason it is called continuous frequency distribution. Okay, and I have number of students and find the standard deviation. And for this table, I want to reconstruct the table. And what is the assumed mean here? Okay, before going to find out assumed mean, let me do construct the table here. So I have the marks and I have the middle value. So how I got this middle value? So dear student, you have to consider 0 plus 10, it is 10, 10 by 2, it is 5. 10 plus 20, it is 30, 30 by 2, it is 15. 20 plus 30, it is 50, 50 by 2, 25. So, I'm going to get the middle value. Okay, in that, I want to find out the assumed mean. And if I consider this one, which is the mean value, that is 35, and it is my assumed mean. Okay, and I have the frequency. Now, what I want to do, I want to find out di. Di equal to xi minus a. So, here it is. What is A? A is nothing but 35. And what is C? C is nothing but the common factor. Okay, and which is common here? If I consider this range, okay, this range is going to multiplied by the number 10. So, it is C is nothing but 10. Over then minus 30. It is 5 minus 35 minus 30. Then 15 minus 35, it is minus 20. 35 minus, here it is 25 minus 35, it is minus 10. 35 minus 35, it is 0. 45 minus 35, it is 10. 55 minus 35, it is 20, and 65 minus 35, it is 30. Okay, now I want to find out di. So xi minus a bar c. C is 10. So here minus 30 divided by 10, it is minus 3. Minus 20 divided by 10, it is minus 2. Minus 10 divided by 10 is minus 1. Over then 10 by 10, it is 1. 20 by 10, it is 2. 30 by 10, it is 3. Now I want to find out fi into di. So here I have the Fi and I have the Di. And when I multiply 8 into 3, that is 8 into minus 3 minus 24. 12 into minus 2, it is minus 24. 17 into minus 1, it is minus 7. 14 into 0, it is 0. 9 into 1, it is 9. 7 into 2, 14. 4 into 3, it is 12. Okay, now what I want to do? I want to find the D square. So what I will do? I'm going to multiply this one. Minus 24 into minus 3, it is 72. Minus 2 into minus 24, it is 48. Minus 1 into minus 17, it is 7. 0 into 0, it is 0. 1 into 9, it is 9. 2 into 14, it is 28. 3 into 13, it is 36. When I take the summation of Fi into Di square, that is 210. And if I calculate Fi into Di, that is summation of Fi into Di, it is minus 30. Now, I'm going to substitute all these values in the formula. Okay, after substituting, I'm going to get 10 into whole square root of 210 by 71 minus 30 by 71 whole square. After simplifying that one, I'm going to get the answer. That's nothing but the standard deviation sigma equal to 16.67. Okay, this is the way I can able to apply step deviation method. Anyway, I'm going to have another problem, that is the mean and standard deviation of 15 observations are found to be 10 and 5 respectively. On rechecking it, it was found that one of the observation with value 8 was incorrect. Calculate the correct mean and standard deviation if the correct observation value was 23. Okay, now in the given question, what is n? Here n is nothing but 15. And what is mean? Mean is nothing but 10. And what is standard deviation? That is nothing but 5 respectively. And what is the formula? That is mean equal to summation of x by n. So summation of x is nothing but 15 into 10, that is 50. So dear student, let me to solve another problem, that is the mean and standard deviation of 15 observations are found to be 10 and 5 respectively. On rechecking, it was found that one of the observation with the value 8 was incorrect. So, calculate the correct mean and standard deviation if the correct observation value was 23. Okay, now see here, from this question, I'm going to get the data. N is nothing but 15 and mean is nothing but 10 and standard deviation is nothing but 5. So here sigma x by n is nothing but my mean. So sigma x is nothing but 5 into 10, it is 50. Wrong observation value is 8. Okay, so the correct observation value is 23. Now, to correct total, so here I'm going to calculate sigma x. So, sigma x by n, that is nothing but the mean. And when I multiply 15 into 10, I'm going to get the answer 150. Okay, and wrong observation value is 8 and the correct observation value is 23. So, 150, wrong is 8 and correct one is Nothing but 23. So I'm going to get the answer 165. So what is the correct answer? It is 165. Now what I want to do? I want to find the correct mean. So when I find the correct mean, that is 11. Okay, and if I find the standard deviation, so it is sigma x square by n minus sigma x by n whole square. So here to find out incorrect value, okay, that is sigma x square by n, that is nothing but the 15 minus 10 square. So here sigma x square, in the sense I want to find out the sigma x square, and the given data I have 25, okay, which is divisible by 15 minus 10, which is going to give sigma x square equal to 125. That's nothing but sigma x square by 15 is nothing but 125. So I'm just going to add this one and this one. Okay, now see here, what is the incorrect value? That is sigma x square. So I have the x, and when I take the x square, I'm going to get 1875, and the incorrect value is sigma x square is nothing but 1875 minus 8 square plus 23 square. It is nothing but 2340, and the correct standard deviation here is square root of 2340 divided by 15 minus 11 whole square. Okay, and when I simplify this one, I'm going to get the answer square root of 35. And if I further simplify, in the sense if I take the square root of 35, I'm going to get the answer 5.9. So dear student, there are certain time I'm going to get the mean value, standard deviation value as well as n value. By using those values, once again I want to find the standard deviation, mean value as well as n value. So these are the certain example for standard deviation. Anyway, dear student, in my today's session I started with group data. Under that I have discussed mean method as well as assumed mean method. Then I started with continuous frequency distribution. Under that I started with mean method as well as step deviation method. And dear student, from the examination point of view, this topic is very important, and even you can expect discrete or continuous data. Okay, anyway, dear student, let's meet in the next session with the new chapter, that is median. Until that, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.